Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 12 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a Q&A. Now, this is where I take all the questions that you've asked over the course of the week, and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. Look, before I start the Q&A, I just want to say to every single person here that watches these videos, thank you so much. Magic TV is a labour of love, really it is, and there's a lot of changes happening behind the scenes, and we're getting a new studio and a new camera setup, and there's lots of stuff going on, but you know, it takes a lot of time and effort to put these videos together. And for every single person that's ever watched one of these videos, honestly, I really appreciate it. I'm sorry I don't have time to reply to every single person's comment. I am really busy. I try whenever possible. I've considered getting a member of staff to reply to comments for me, but I thought that's very impersonal. I don't want to cheat people like that. But ultimately, I just want to say thank you. You know, thank you so much. There's been times in the last couple of years where I've thought about just calling it a day and just like, right, okay, that's it. Great. It was a great run. But every single time that happens, I get a message from people saying, oh, this channel has changed my life, or whatever it may be. And that's kind of why I've done it. That's the main reason why I put the time and effort that I do into creating these videos. So honestly, from the bottom of my heart, for every single person that's ever watched a single video and ever commented, thank you so much. Anyway, it's time for the Q&A. This is where I take all the questions over the course of the week and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. I don't check the questions ahead of time. I just get them up from the previous week and I go through them one at a time. Because I think being spontaneous is the best way to approach this stuff. And if there's something that I think I can turn into a meatier video, then that is what I'll do. Looking at it, there's a whole bunch of questions. I'm filming this on Tuesday. I've literally just come back from Blackpool. I've had a manic week. I started the week by heading off to Alakazam. I was in Alakazam for 3 days. Then I caught a train up to Blackpool, met Sarah here, did a whole bunch of stuff in the House of Secrets. Then I've come back. It's currently Tuesday here. I'm filming the Q&A. Got a whole bunch of videos to film. Then I'm going to be shooting off on Wednesday to Eastbourne, where Ryland's performing and I am lecturing. So it's non-stop, it's manic, but that's how I like it. If I miss your question, I'm very sorry. I promise I will get back to it. If you just leave it below and I'll get back to it next week. I'm filming it on a Tuesday today. Normally I film on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into this week's questions. So the first question is from Sam Fuller Magician. How you doing, Sam? And Sam starts by saying, thank you for everything you do for the community. Thanks for releasing Mirage Card on Netrix. It's killed at recent gigs. Man, you're welcome. So question number 1. With Cheeky, is this the last of the Houdini set that was filmed, or were there more new projects part of that set, and will they ever be released as a whole video? Good question. Yes, Cheeky is the last. I did like a 40-minute set at Houdini's. Which comprised of a couple of routines. I think I did Card in the Box from my Penguin Live lecture, did a couple of other things, but the meat and bones of it was the Mirage coin set and Cheeky. And obviously both of those projects have come out. However, I've just come back from Alakazam. I filmed 3 projects at Alakazam and we filmed the tutorials. Didn't have time to film the explanations, and you know how passionate I am about live performances. So one of the things that I was doing in Blackpool was getting all of the live performance videos for all of the stuff that I filmed in Alakazam. So I filmed in Alakazam all the tutorials, including a big 5-hour project, which was massive. And then all of the performances were filmed up at the House of Secrets. So thank you for Russ Brown for letting me film that there. So that's that. I am, however, at the end of the month going back down to Alakazam to film another 5 projects, and Peter Nardi has booked Houdini. So all of those 5 projects are going to form a 50-minute set that I do. And there's some really cool stuff, including a Christmas trick, my first Christmas trick that's going to get released in time for you guys to do at Christmas. But I'm filming all of that stuff at Houdini's. Will Peter Nardi ever release the footage as kind of a thing? Hey, I'm going to suggest that to him. I think that's a really good idea. I don't know. He has all of the footage. I guess it's up to him. But obviously, there's a load of performance clips out there from various different performances that I've done. But thanks for the kind words. And yeah, look out for the stuff coming from Alakazam. Okay, so there's another question from Sam Fuller Magician, and Sam Fuller says, Netrix, are there any upcoming business tips videos? Yes, August has been ridiculously busy for me. I'm very proud of the fact that since the Netrix has launched, we've added 5 new tricks every single fortnight. And we've got 5 new tricks going up tomorrow as well. In fact, I think there's a question about that later on. So I will talk about that a little bit later on. But there's 5 new tricks coming up. I've been interviewing various different people for the silver level subscribers. So I've got 5 business experts that I've interviewed. I just need to get their footage edited, which should be done by sort of the middle of September. So I'm guessing not this upload, but the next upload. There's going to be a ton of business stuff going up there. A lot of interviews with social media experts and business experts, specifically about getting work as magicians. I'm also doing a massive course on getting work in restaurants, like literally everything that you need to be able to get as many restaurant residencies as you want. I literally break down the process that you need to follow to get as much restaurant work as you want. So that's going up there as well. And I'm doing a whole bunch of other videos about how to actually generate more work when you're actually at a gig. And I'm doing some videos on how to use pieces of software that I think you guys should use as a magician. Stuff like CRM systems, stuff like simple email automation, stuff like Meet Edgar and social media scheduling stuff. All of those things, I'm going to be doing how-to guides on that as well. I might even do a how-to guide on creating a show reel. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm going to actually be putting together, and it's going to be coming over the course of September, but a lot of it's filmed. It just needs to be edited. So David Moore Magician says, hi Craig, love all your videos. Thank you so much. Not sure if you've done it before, but have you thought about doing a review show special on Joel Miranda or Tenyo? Love both companies. Thanks for your hard work. Tenyo is something I'm actually thinking of doing. I've actually got a whole bunch of Tenyo stuff that I've ordered in, and I am actually planning on doing a Tenyo review show special. So yes, absolutely 100% that's going to happen. Joel Miranda, I've never thought about doing that. It's going to cost me a fortune, isn't it, to do that? I mean, it's going to cost me an absolute fortune. His stuff is not cheap. So maybe, but I mean, if I can find the spare $4,000 or $5,000 to actually spend on doing a Joel Miranda special, then I might do. But it ain't going to be cheap. But yeah, I mean, I've reviewed Joel's stuff as it comes out. I reviewed Gravity. I did a review show special on that. I did the one that was based on Moz's pen, which was really good as well. But yeah, I mean, I suppose I could. Does enough people want to see that? Would you like to see that? If you do, then yeah, I can make it happen. Okay, so the next question is from Darren Chachui, and Darren says, hey Craig, super video as always, thank you very much. Will I ever do a Saturn Magic review show special? I think people have a lot of cool stuff that most people don't know about. My personal favourites are Haribo and No Credit. I have done one Saturn Magic review show special, and I have done an interview with Mark Traversoni, who runs Saturn Magic, and I have reviewed other Saturn Magic stuff from time to time. But yeah, I plan on doing another Saturn Magic review show special. Saturn Magic bring out so much really cool stuff, so it's hard to keep on top of it. I've got tons of review show specials that are currently kind of being slated to be bought out. I've got a Steve Gore review show special coming soon. I've got a Saturn Magic review show special coming soon. You specifically mentioned Haribo and No Credit. I love No Credit. I think it's brilliant. Guillaume, who created No Credit, is a phenomenal magician. He is, in my opinion, the best magician in Malta. His company, OMG and OMG Kids, are incredible. If you haven't checked them out on Facebook or Insta, you really should do so. He's got a background in marketing, so he really knows his stuff. Haribo, I've heard of. I haven't actually watched yet, but having reviewed Ringhole, I'd like to see Haribo as well. But yeah, I am going to be doing a review show special on Saturn Magic. It will be coming at some point. Just watch out for it. Okay, again, the next question is by Darren Chachui, and he says, what are your thoughts about Chop Glass by Alan Hudson? I saw it online and it looked interesting. Thanks, keep it up. This is an older item. And I remember talking to David Penn when he bought this out. I think it came out about 4 or 5 years ago now. So Alan Hudson, if you don't know who Alan Hudson is one of the, if not the best comedy magician in the UK. As far as I'm concerned, Alan Hudson is hilarious. He's brilliant. I've seen him live several times. When I grow up, I want to be Alan Hudson. Like, he is that good. And so when he releases something, you kind of pay attention, because he's not one of these people that bring stuff out all of the time. And what Chop Glass is it's kind of an interesting concept. So it's a piece of black cloth. And what you do is, it's specially made, it sounds terrible, a piece of black cloth, it's specially gimmicked and specially made, and it fits on a standard wine glass. So the whole idea is you can go to a gig and not have to take a chop cup with you, because all you have to do is take one of these pieces of black felt, put it over the glass, and then what that does is that makes the glass part of the glass opaque, but also gimmicks it like a chop cup. So now you can borrow one of the wine glasses and you can do a chop cup routine with a ball, so you just need the ball on you and the final low with the ball and the chop glass gimmick. Really nice idea, really, really nice idea. I don't do it. And the reason I don't do it is because I have my own chop, which if a lot of the time, if I'm actually going out and I'm gigging, I'll either use a chop cup or I'll use chop. Now, it very much depends on the gig, and that's another question for another time. But if I'm at a gig and it's a high-end sort of corporate gig or something like that, I'll borrow a coffee cup, and I'll do it with a coffee cup because the chop gimmick works with a coffee cup as well as a paper cup or a ceramic cup or a cardboard cup. So I'll do it with a borrowed cup, or I'll carry the cardboard cup around with me and I'll make a big deal of it. I'll say, you've seen these magicians that have fancy props. I don't have a fancy prop. I literally have this cardboard cup, but I think we can try and do something kind of really similar. So I do a version of that without needing the chop glass gimmick, but I don't want to take anything away from chop glass. I think chop glass is a really clever, really clever solution to the age-old problem of, what am I supposed to do? Carry a chop cup around with me? Oh, this is going to take up so much pocket space. It's a very clever solution. And as long as you don't mind having... The one thing that I kind of questioned when I first saw it is, why are you putting this thing over a wine glass? If you could do real magic, why not just use the wine glass? But I think as long as you justify that, and Alan does justify it, then I don't think it's a problem. So yeah, it's a really clever way for a magician to be able to do chop cup without carrying a chop cup around with them. I do like the idea of doing a glass production, like maybe you open up, you go to the table, you do a bottle production, you put the bottle down, and then you do you do a glass production. I remember seeing Michael Amar do a glass production where he held the wine glass. He had a handkerchief, and as he showed the handkerchief, he stole the wine glass. And I think originally it was I can't remember his name. It wasn't Michael Amar's, it was somebody else's. And I can't remember who. Bruce Savon. I think it was Bruce Savon. But anyway, he steals the wine glass and steals it and drops the cloth into his hand. And the wine glass is held so that the base of the wine glass is there and it's dangling underneath his hand. So when the cloth gets put on top, the hand looks completely empty. They can even feel the hand. And then all you do is you lift up. And as you do, you drop it down and you bend your fingers in and the glass just appears, and you take the cloth off and the glass appears. I love the idea of making a bottle appear, make a glass appear, put the glass down, put the bottle to one side, take your chop glass gimmick, put it on top, and you go into your chop cup routine. I think that would flow really nicely. But yeah, really, it's really good. It's a long-winded way of me doing a mini review on the Q&A and saying chop glass is great. I think you can get it from worldmagicshop.com, and it's a Murphy's item, so probably from your favourite magic dealer as well. Okay, so the next question is from MCK Studios, and MCK Studios has a couple of questions. Question number one, what happened to the Jonathan Royal video? I've had to take it down temporarily because of a particular email that I had that needed my attention. It is going to go back up. In fact, by the time you watch this Q&A, there's a very good chance it will be back up. It's not going to be down forever, but I don't want my account taken off me on YouTube, and therefore I need to address an email that I've had. I always knew that I'd be treading on people's toes interviewing Jonathan because he's quite a controversial character, and a lot of the stuff that he's done is controversial. And I knew that he would rattle some cages, which is absolutely fine. I made the decision to interview him knowing that going into it. But when you get the email, I had to take the video down just temporarily. It is going to be going back up again. I'm just dotting some I's and crossing some T's before it does go back up. But trust me, the Jonathan Royal video will go back up. And it was a great video. Very, very interesting. He's a very interesting character. I'm super glad that he did the interview for me. It will be going back up. And by the time you watch this, it probably will be up already. Okay, so the next question is from MCK Studios, and he says, do you have any advice on putting together a parlor show? And the answer is yes. I actually did a video about a year ago on this channel, and the video was how to run an awesome parlor show or something like that. And what it was is I broke down a full 1 hour parlor show, and I broke it down trick by trick. You see a live performance of every single trick in the show, and then you see me talking about what I did, why I did it, why I didn't do it, all of this stuff. I went through it with a fine-tooth comb. So if you want to know how to run a parlor show, that's the video to watch. Now, I plan on doing a follow-up to that video, because although I went through trick selection and I went through a few other bits and pieces in there as well, I think that there's more that I could have actually touched on. Even though it was a very long video, I think there's more I could have touched on. So I am planning on doing another video soon on how to, even more advice on running a parlor show. But for now, go watch that video. The biggest piece of advice I can give you is a parlor show is basically close up, but to a big group of people. So think about what tricks you do in your close-up that would play to 15 or 20 people. There's certain tricks that will play, there's certain tricks that won't play. Think about the tricks in your repertoire that will play and use those, and think about how you can make everything bigger. Think about how you can play something bigger to an audience as opposed to what you typically do with close-up magic. So go and watch that video, and there will be another video coming soon. Okay, so the next question is from Willie Chen, and Willie says, hey Craig, first of all, I have a question for you about one of my favourite magicians that you know. The reason why he's my favourite magician is mainly because I personally know him, and he's been an influential, not just to me, but to other magicians and magic buddies around me. He's the first magician well known in the magic community that I've met, let's put it that way, especially his material on coin magic, but definitely not limited to just that. Very few magicians in the island of O-A-H-U. I'm really sorry. I don't want to butcher that. I'm so sorry. Where I live can do coin magic as good as he can, and that is Curtis Cam. But he's in Hawaii, isn't he? So that's probably one of the islands off Hawaii. Hope I was able to build the suspense there. Lol. Absolutely, man. So my question is, what are your top 3 favourite products and material from Curtis Cam that you do? And hey, maybe do a Curtis Cam review show special one day. P.S. Don't tell Curtis that I'm asking you this question. He doesn't have to know about it either. Okay, let's just keep it between you and me. I would love to interview Curtis Cam. I would absolutely love to interview Curtis Cam. As much of an influence as he's been on your career, he's been as big an influence on my career, especially as a coin guy. Now, I consider myself a coin guy, and I love coin magic above and beyond anything else. And I will literally sit there for hours just practicing coin magic. I always have coins with me. Yep, there you go. You can hear them. I always have coins in my pocket because I'm constantly practicing. And you know what? If I ever get an ego, if I ever get myself into a position where I think, you know what, I'm the greatest magician of all time. If I ever get myself to that point, you know what I do? I go and watch some Curtis Cam material and realise just how rubbish I am compared to absolute gods of coin magic and legends like himself. For anybody watching this, if you're into coin magic and you haven't studied Curtis's material, please do so. It's absolutely incredible. Now, stuff that I like, everything that Curtis has ever done, I like. Everything I've ever seen Curtis do, I love. I remember once, a little Curtis Cam story, I can't remember where I saw it or what project it was on or anything, but I remember once seeing Curtis do an egg bag. And I love egg bag. Like, I love egg bag with a passion. Egg bag is one of my favourite routines. And I remember Curtis doing an egg bag routine and fooling the hell out of me, because he did this egg bag routine and it was the tiniest little egg bag. And at the end, he showed his hands empty and he reached into the bag and he pulled out a full-sized frying pan. And that's the sort of thing that Curtis does. You never see it coming. You never, ever, ever see it coming. He's very good at just like layering. He's very good at just when you think you know what's happening, he moves things in completely a different direction. So, stuff that I love from Curtis Cam. I love his anything from the Palms of Steel series, which I think is probably the best series of instructional DVDs on coin magic. And it was by the Magic Bakery, and if you don't know them, you should go out and beg, borrow, steal a copy of the Palms of Steel series. It was mainly Curtis, but over the course of the various different videos he released, he brought in friends like Kiona Harbottle, Reed McClintock, and a whole bunch of other people. But his Palms of Steel series is brilliant. And although he has incredible technical ability, and he does have incredible technical ability, he doesn't just do moves for the sake of doing moves, ever. He never does moves for the sake of doing moves. He always finds the simplest approach to any trick. Now, sometimes simple means easy, but don't get me wrong, sometimes simple means bloody complicated or bloody hard. He'll just do the best approach that he can and his magic is always hard-hitting and very direct. Stuff off the Palms of Steel series that I love is let me think now, the Goblet, which I spent so long learning when I first got into magic, or when I first got into coin magic, which is just like, he's got a goblet, right? And it's a multi-phase routine where coins appear and then you drop them in the cup. There's a coins across segment where they go in the cup and then they change into Chinese coins and then they transpose and you produce 3 more coins. It's just a masterclass in routining. It is absolutely brilliant. I'm just bringing up Curtis Cam here too. The other thing is, I remember seeing on his... one of his Palms of Steel series, a purse frame routine, which was a transposition between a copper coin and a silver coin whilst it's getting put into and out of a purse frame. And I thought that was genius. I did that for a long time, and he was the first person I saw that had a purse frame, but he'd put some material on it, or he'd left some material on it, so it looks like he'd ripped the material off, which was brilliant. I thought that was incredible. But that purse frame routine was really good. And he had an ungimmicked, again on the Palms of Steel series, he had an ungimmicked copper, silver, brass. So he's using copper, silver, brass, but he's using regular coins to achieve exactly the same effect. And that fooled me so badly. I'm just looking at some of the other stuff. Echo is really good. If you haven't seen Echo was a recent trick. I really should review that, actually. Echo was a recent trick, and it was really, really good. And it was a coins to glass style routine, but not, and you get the glass with it as well, and it's a beautiful glass. I'm looking at some of the routine. Yeah, Palms of Steel 5. There was a Palms of Steel that had a card routine in it as well, and I can't find which one it was. Was it Palms of Steel 4? Casablanca, Play It Straight, 7 coins, Triple Alliance. No. I think it might have been number 3. And that I can't see number 3. But get the Palms of Steel series. It's brilliant. That's what you need to do. Yeah. I could go on. Curtis is just absolutely phenomenal. You owe it yourself to go and get his material. And if you haven't already done so, just buy it. I've got a blue book in my library, and it's not available anymore. And it's full of amazing card magic as well. And that's the other thing. Curtis, a lot of people think of him as a coin guy. He's got some incredible card magic as well. His book, it's a blue book. It's a thin... It's great. I need to get it off the library. It's full of incredible card material, and one of his Palm of Steel, he put a card routine on there, which was just so good. He's one of these people that can do it all and do it all really, really well. So yeah, if Curtis is listening to this, please give me an interview. I would love to interview you for Talk Magic. Okay, so the next question is from Sean Anjachak, and Sean says, on a recent podcast, you and Lloyd talked a bit about method versus effect. Do you think many magicians overlook certain tricks because they feel the method seems too simple? Would you consider doing a video on top tricks with simple methods that have high impact? I think that'd be a great video to do. And I do think that magicians do that. I do think that magicians overlook tricks that are overly simplistic. Like a couple of my routines that I lecture on, I talk about forcing a card. And I talk about, the best forces to use. And I say that, one of the best forces that you can use in this situation is a crosscut force. And I've had magicians come up to me after the lecture and go, do you really think the crosscut force is one of the best forces that you can do? Really? Do you really think it is? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I really do think it is. But as long as situationally it's correct, then the crosscut force is amazing. But I also do a lot of self-working magic in my act. I do a lot of stuff that's completely self-working. And I've had magicians say to me, oh, why do you do self-working tricks? You know how to do sleight of hand. Why do you do self-working tricks? And the reason is they're incredibly strong. Now, there's some self-working tricks that aren't very good, where you have to deal 47 cards and then more dealing and more dealing and more dealing, and it can get a bit laborious, right? But then there's certain tricks that are just incredible. There's certain self-working tricks that are just really, really great. Shuffling Lesson by Chad Long is a perfect example of a self-working trick that will blow the roof off the building. There's tons of them out there. Really simple self-working tricks that are really, really good. So I do think that magicians do overlook certain tricks because the method's too simple. My attitude, and I said this earlier on in the Q&A, I'm going to say it again. My attitude is very simple. You pick the best possible trick to do. Do you know, you pick the best... you pick the best method. Now, sometimes the best method is something that's self-working. Controlling a card, for example. The easiest way to do it is to do a double undercut. But that might not be the simplest approach. The simplest approach is a pass. Now, the pass isn't necessarily easy, but it's the simplest way. But then other things, the simplest way might be something that's self-working. So, and it's why you really should focus on having as big a toolbox as possible and knowing as many things as possible. Because that, especially when you're creating, because then when you're creating, you've got all of these resources to pick from, as opposed to just kind of having a very limited range of things that you can look at. So, yeah, that's my advice on that. Hope that helps. Okay, so the next question is from Bobby Jenkins, and Bobby says, hey Craig, I've only just started in the last 8 months or so in magic. Oh, welcome aboard. Welcome to the magic community there, Bobby. And I've started off late. Don't worry about it. Look at people like Doc Eason. Doc Eason got into magic really, really late on, like 30s or something, and he's considered one of the greatest magicians of all time. Don't worry about it. I didn't even start till I was 18. I started with packet tricks, gimmicks and ungimmicked, and that has helped me with the Elmsley count. They usually only require you to do 1 or 2 basic sleights, and so do not bombard you with sleights. And now I'm trying to move on at the moment. The classic magic of Michael Vincent, what a magician and performer, I would agree. Would you recommend this way, or is it just what suits individuals? When I watch Ryland, I'm so jealous that I did not start off in my early life. I know what you mean, man. I didn't start off till I'm 18. You know, Ryland, if you think about it, is 9 right now. He's got another 9 years to go until he's at the age when I started doing magic. Imagine what he's going to be like at the age of 18. It's insane. When doing magic reviews, can you try and include how hard it is for the beginner and intermediate? Yeah, we try to do that wherever possible, and we'll make a more concerted effort to do it again in the future. In terms of the way to go, I'm biased, and one of the reasons I'm biased is because that's exactly why I built the Netrix platform. The bronze level, which is $14.99 a month, is designed to give people all of the tools that they need to learn everything they need to learn in magic. So there's sleight sections with hundreds of sleights. There's literally hundreds of sleights, all broken down, coins, cards, everything. There's hundreds of sleights. And then there's loads of tricks, and each one has a difficulty rating. And what we're doing right now behind the scenes, we've been working on this for about a month and a half, is having this thing where when you join the Netrix, you put down what level you're at, and it sends you customized emails based on the type of magic you want to learn and the level that you're at the moment. So if you're a beginner and you want to learn coin magic, it'll literally give you a step-by-step guide of what videos to watch first. Because one of the things with the Netrix is it's so massive and it grows every single fortnight. So we're currently coding all of this stuff behind the scenes so that it literally gives you a customized route through the Netrix based on where you are at the moment. And it's been a bugger to put together, but we're kind of there. We're thinking at the end of September that will launch. But so I think the Netrix is a good way to go. But if you don't want to do that, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, I mean, Michael Vincent is a great magician to look at, but his stuff is quite advanced. His stuff is quite advanced. If you're going to go down the route of learning something, I would say John Gustafaro is really good. Look at his L&L DVD set, which you can get as a download from most magic shops. Look at the Easy to Master Card Magic series from Michael Amar. That's a really great set that you can have a look at if you're into card magic. Look at some of John Carey's stuff. John Carey has this ability of taking really complicated classics of magic and making them a lot more simple. If you look at some of John Carey's stuff from Alakazam in his Academy series, he's got some great academies that really kind of break down the process that you need to go through when you first get into card magic. So that's worth looking at as well. He's also got some great stuff on the Netrix. Trying to think of anyone else. I mean, there's tons of people out there that are really good. If you can get it, and it is available in various different places, the late, great, rest in place Daryl had sort of an encyclopedia of card magic, and that's an interesting thing to have a look at. That's worth looking at as well. But yeah, I mean, Michael Vincent, I've got to be honest, is a little bit advanced. Some of his stuff is very, very difficult. Not all of it, but he does lean towards the more difficult side. He's an incredible performer. He's an incredible teacher. He's an incredible innovator, but a lot of his stuff is not that easy. So please bear that in mind. I wouldn't want you to go study Michael Vincent and then get put off magic because it's all so hard. There's a lot of easier stuff out there. And on the subject of easy, Big Blind Media put together, self-working magic tricks, which is really good. And while you're on Big Blind Media, have a look at Cameron Francis's stuff as well. His stuff is very, very simple and very direct and well worth getting into. Look at Ryan Schlutz. He's got some amazing stuff that's worth looking at as well, especially the stuff that came out through Big Blind Media. So there you go. That's some good places to start that will ease you in gently, as opposed to Michael Vincent, which is literally jumping into the deep end with chains wrapped around your body. Like, ease yourself in gently. That's my advice. Diffisham Ryu says, just curious, how do you get time to practice if you're too busy with YouTube? I'm always practicing. I'm practicing 24/7. So today I woke up and we left the hotel that we were staying in Blackpool and headed down to the Midlands, and it was a 2-hour drive, and the entire way there I was on the phone, but also I had coins with me. I was practicing various different things. I was practicing various different sleights. I then sat down in front of a computer and I was dealing with some stuff, but as I was doing it, I had a deck of cards and I was practicing bottom deals, really trying to get my bottom deal better at the moment. It's not where I want it to be. I just practice all of the time. I don't really have dedicated study times where I'm practicing a particular thing. What I do is I read books and I watch downloads as and when I'm feeling like it, a lot of the time before bed. And then what I'll do is I'll practice them throughout the day when I'm sitting at a computer or I'm in a car or I'm on a train or whatever it may be. And a lot of the time, even when I'm not actually physically practicing magic, I'm always kind of thinking of ideas in my head. Like Sarah will say to me all the time, you look distant, are you thinking of a magic trick? And I'm like, yeah, I've had an idea, I'm just workshopping it in my head. I seem to have this ability of creating a magic trick and then working it through in my head before I've even actually sat down with a pack of cards or whatever. Just going, right, okay, would this work? I did that with the quantum deck. When I came up with the quantum deck, I was there on a 4-hour journey with Nemid Phoenix on the way back from somewhere. And the entire way on that journey, I was there and I was kind of like, hang on a minute. So I've got a blank deck and I put this in this position. Would that work? No, that wouldn't work. So what if I had to flip the deck? And I by the time I'd literally finished the journey and got back, I'd had the basics of the quantum deck in place. So I'm always thinking. I don't really have many practice sessions where I sit down and I'm like, right, I'm going to practice now. But I'm constantly fiddling, constantly practicing, constantly messing around with stuff. I've got a deck of cards over there. I've got coins in my pocket. Even in between filming, I've got a lot of filming to do today because I'm back for one day and then tomorrow I'm heading down Eastbourne. So I've got a lot to batch and film. And even in between filming, I'm just going to be here fiddling with coins. Okay, so Sting asks 2 questions. First, he doesn't want to stress me out, but it's still waiting for the video about the TUC you promised us at the beginning of the year. Yeah, I am actually putting that together. It's taking longer than I thought. I've got to be honest, mainly because I've never really worked with the TUC before. And I've got some ideas, but I don't want to release a half-arsed video to you guys. I've got like 5 or 6 solid ideas with it, because the hard thing with the TUC, and the reason I've not really messed around with it much before, is because honestly, I think that the majority of the stuff that you can do with the TUC, you can do with either a shell or a flipper. So the challenge with the TUC is coming up with something that realistically can only be done with a TUC and not done with anything else. And every time I come up with an idea, I think, well, yeah, you can do that with a shell though. Yeah, you can do that with a flipper though. So I'm putting it together. When it's ready, it'll come out, but I'm not going to release a video that's half-arsed. I want it to be something that really gives value, if that kind of makes sense. You also ask another question. Where's the best Scotch and soda routines to learn? There's not really that much that's available with the Scotch and soda, if you think about it. There's not actually that many Scotch and soda routines that are out there, which is kind of weird, because Scotch and soda is a classic. I think the best one is to use Scotch and soda for a coin in the best way to use a Scotch and soda, is to do a coin and watch. So, and maybe I'll do a video on the Scotch and soda as well, if enough guys want to see this. But how I always used to use a Scotch and soda, and I still do, and there's performance footage out there, is I've got Scotch and soda. It's actually a coin unique, but you know what I mean, with a 2p that fits into a £2 coin. So I have in my pocket, I have in a little purse, the 2p, the £2 coin, and 50p. So I show the 3 coins like this, and I have a 2p. As I go into my pocket, I take out the purse, I take out the 3 coins, I put them on my hand, and then I put the purse away and I steal the 2 pence. And I get them to hold their hand out, and as I do, I load the 2 pence underneath their watch. I put the 3 coins into their hand, and I get them to close their hand. So that now their hand is closed, apparently around a 2p, a £2 and a 50p, while in reality the 2p is going to have vanished, right? So now I do some simple equivoke to somebody else. I say, hey, do me a favor, grab a cup with your right hand, pretend to grab a coin out, what have you got? And if they've got the 2p, you go, brilliant. If it's the £2, you go in with your left hand, take one out. So you do some simple equivoke, and they end up with the 2p. And you go, okay, I'll make the 2p vanish. They open up their hand, and now the 2p has gone, which is great. And then you say, well, make it come back right there, wave your hand over, and when they do, they see the 2p underneath their hand. I think that's one of the strongest ways to use a Scotch and soda, but there's a lot of other methods as well. There's a lot of other things that you can do with it as well. And if enough people want a Scotch and soda thing, that would be easier to put together, because I've been using Scotch and soda and coin uniques for years, so I could easily put that video together. So if you want to see a Scotch and soda or a coin unique style video with a breakdown of different routines you can do, like I did with the quiver, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so the next question is from James Gilbert, and James Gilbert says, loving the Netrix, thank you very much, James, and are there going to be other people joining the Netrix as instructors? And the answer to this, James, is yes. In fact, I've posted it on social media, but this Monday, so you're watching this on Sunday, so tomorrow, Steve-O Watson joins the Netrix, because I listen to what everybody says. And one of the things that people have been saying that they want to see on the Netrix is advice on how to gimmick cards and how to gaff cards and how to create your own gimmicks. Because there's very little information out there on how to do that. So I went to who I consider to be one of the best card gaffers in the world, and his name's Steve-O Watson. He's part of Ace Magic Studios. He's kind of part of the creative department at Alakazam. And I asked him if he'd join the Netrix, and he said yes. So we're launching with 3 Steve-O Watson courses on Monday, tomorrow. We're uploading an almost 1.5 hour long course on card splitting, where Steve-O goes through absolutely everything with a fine-tooth comb on how to actually split cards, the purpose of splitting cards, the do's and the don'ts, everything. Card splitting can achieve so much, and so many magicians don't know how to do it. Steve-O has broken it down in better detail than I've seen anyone ever done before. Then the second course is on card crafting, and what you need in order to craft gimmicks and create your own gimmicks. And he literally goes through his own toolbox. He talks about what you need, why you need it, how it's used, and gives you resources into where you can get this stuff. So because it's a minefield. Okay, I want to start creating my own flap cards. What do I need? He breaks everything down for you. And then the third course is how to create your own simple gaffed card, how to create your own gaffed card that you can use in a trick that will look amazing immediately. Now, the reason we've launched with those 3 tricks with Steve-O, not tricks but courses, is because this is going to lay the foundations for all of his future courses. So the other courses that are coming out over the coming weeks and months are going to be building on these resources, building on this foundation. So he's going to be teaching you how to create gimmicks and how to create tricks, and he's going to be going through exclusive unpublished tricks that need gimmicks making, and he's going to teach you how to make the gimmicks, but you might need to learn how to split a card, for example. So we wanted to put those courses out first on how to split cards, how to create gimmicks, and all this sort of stuff. So five things going up this Monday, and 3 of them are Steve-O's. I'm so excited he's on board. I'm speaking with 5 other people about joining the Netrix as well. So you're going to be seeing more names being added over the coming weeks and months, including new tricks from various people that have already been on the Netrix for a while. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot coming up. I'm also teaching my close-up linking rings routine this Monday. So this Monday, my close-up linking rings routine is going onto the Netrix as well, because a lot of people asked to learn that. And they want, a few weeks ago, people were saying, hey, we want more variety on the Netrix, not just card tricks and coin tricks. So we've put rope tricks up there, ring and rope routines. I put my egg bag routine up there a couple of weeks ago. So we listen to what people say, and that's what we're delivering. So yeah, thanks for your question. Steve-O is the next person joining the Netrix, and his stuff goes live tomorrow. So Netrix subscribers, get excited. Okay, so the next question is from Adrian Suter, and Adrian says, hey Craig, the progress that Ryland has made as a performer is amazing. I loved his milk and light bulb routine, thank you. When he was younger, was it easy for him to understand that a certain amount of lying and deception are necessary when doing magic, but it's not okay in everyday life? Yeah, I mean, that was something that we kind of went through right at the very beginning. Lying is bad, but it's okay when you're telling people that something's in the other hand when it's not. It was something that, it was a concern of Sarah's, my wife. You know, I've spoken about this on the channel before. I didn't want to just teach Ryland magic unless he showed an interest, and right from an early age he showed an interest. You know, I've got videos of him learning how to palm a coin before he could even speak. Which is cool, right? So, but yeah, I've got, yeah, to answer your question, yes, it was a concern, especially for Sarah in the early days, but we made it very, very clear, you know, and Ryland's grown up to be a very good kid, you know, and does he test our patience sometimes? Absolutely. Can he be naughty sometimes? Yes. Will he tell us that he's not playing on the Switch when he actually is, when it's time for bed? Absolutely. But every kid does that, right? Every kid, when they learn, when they get to a certain of age, they kind of realize, well, hang on a minute, if I don't tell the truth, I'm going to maybe get away with this. I'm not going to get into trouble. That's not exclusive to Ryland. But in terms of learning magic, we made it very clear as we were teaching magic, hey, it's a little bit like acting. It's a little bit like the people on the TV. You know, it's not real. You know, you're making people believe you can do magic when really you can't. But yeah, it was something that we wanted to really clearly make a deal of right at the early. And that was the biggest thing about teaching magic, Ryland, from a young age. You know, we wanted to make that distinction. So it's a very good question, and it's something that people do need to bear in mind. But yeah, yeah, I think he's grown up okay. Okay, so the next question is from Antonio Diaz Ballesteros, and Antonio says, hey Craig, here's my question. After performing magic for Layman, they usually ask me if I could teach them a simple card trick. How do you handle that situation, and what very simple trick should I teach them so that they can learn straight away? Thanks. I've talked about this in the past. If you're a gigging magician and you do gigs, you will get asked a lot, hey, can you teach me a trick? And it's difficult. If you're booked to do magic for 2 hours, you can't spend 10 minutes teaching someone a trick when you're supposed to be going around performing magic for people, right? I use it as a marketing opportunity. So many years ago, I filmed 12 videos, which went up on YouTube as unlisted videos. 12 videos teaching 12 super simple magic tricks that literally anybody can do. And I created an automated campaign for them. So what I did is I wrote 12 emails, I embedded the 12 videos into the 12 emails, and I set it up on an automated system. And I created a landing page on my phone. So in other words, when somebody says, hey, I'd love to learn some magic, I turn around to them and say, look, I'm really sorry, I haven't got time to actually teach you right now. I've got to get around everybody. But if you give me your name and email address this evening, I'll send you a video teaching you how to do a really simple trick. And I'll even send a few more over the next few months as well. So then I just open up this landing page, I take down their name and their email address, and that sets off a timer. So that evening they get an email saying, hey, it was great to meet you at the event today. As promised, this is a video for you to learn how to do a simple magic trick. I hope you enjoy it. And I'll send you a few more over the next few months. Remember, if you need a magician, let me know. Here's the link to my website, and I put a call to action at the bottom with a link through to the website. And then a timer, when they watch that, when they open that email, a timer is set off for 30 days. 30 days later, it sends another email saying, hey, last month I sent you a video on how to do this trick. Well, I thought you might like to see another one. And it does that for a whole year. And the whole idea behind it is, you know, you meet people at events all of the time. Those people are going to meet other people that are planning parties and want entertainment. If I send this person a video every single month teaching them how to do magic and they look like the best thing in the world, when somebody says, oh, I'm planning a party, or they plan a party themselves, they're going to go to me because I've been sending them videos, and each one has had a call to action in, right? So from a marketing point of view, it makes sense. Now, if this is a social situation, absolutely. You know, if somebody wants to learn a trick, teach them a simple trick. I have no problem teaching people simple tricks that want to learn how to do magic. If they're prepared to invest a bit of time, I'm prepared to prepared to teach them. And the tricks that I taught them, I do. It's been a long time since I filmed it, but it was the jumping rubber band, the thing with the string where you take a string and you fray the middle out so it looks like two pieces of string, and you pull them and there's one piece of string. A simple card sandwich where I take a little. I teach them how to cut a piece out of a card and show 3 cards, and when they take one, it changes. Simple stuff like key card, simple stuff like that. So yeah, I mean that's how I would approach that. That's how I do videos. But if you want to teach them something, jumping rubber band is a really good one because it's visual, it's quick, and they can do it straight away. Okay, so Magic Elliot, I've got 2 questions, and the first question is, have I got any good Pat Page or Ali Bongo stories? Not any Ali Bongo stories, unfortunately. Pat Page stories. The best story that I've got about Pat Page is when I went to the Blackpool Magic Convention for the first time. I was really nervous, I was really scared, I was petrified, and Pat Page was my biggest, hero, because I'd seen all of his trick or tape stuff through Vic Pinto. And I remember walking into the dealer hall, this is when they were around the horseshoe, and seeing Pat Page there. And I must have just stood near his stall, not even going over for about an hour, just trying to get up the courage to introduce myself. And I think he realised, then he just literally shut his shop down, and he walked over to me and he said, hey, can I buy you a coffee? And he took me to one side for half an hour, and he just introduced himself, and we were just chatting like old mates. And you know, I was blown away at the friendliness and the niceness of Pat. I mean, it's just incredible that he did that. He didn't have to do that. He was there selling on his stand. He could have very easily gone, oh, I don't know who that kid is. It was weird. I'm a weird guy looking at my stand. But he didn't. He took the time out to actually take me to one side. And that tells you the sort of person that Pat Page is. From my point of view, Pat Page was one of the greatest magicians of all time, and his legacy lives on. Magic Elliot asks another question. Craig, have you considered setting up a Buy Me a Coffee page or similar? Your channel is valued by so many people, and you've given us so much support and advice for free. Personally, I'm indebted for you for interviewing me without ever having met me before. Yeah, no, not really. I've never really... I don't do this for the money. I really genuinely don't. I always say to people, if you want to support me, then just subscribe to the Netrix. It's £14.99 a month. It's like what? For the bronze level... What's that, like £3.50 a week? And all of that gets ploughed right back into the company so that I can build it and grow it. I've just taken on a full-time member of staff to help me with the Netrix, and specifically with the Netrix. And there's so many changes happening behind the scenes. I'd rather people do that. And if they don't want to do that, that's fine. If that's not in their means, that's absolutely fine. I don't do this for the money. I do this because I think that there's a need for a channel like this. I'm never going to have a bigger channel as somebody like Lloyd Barnes or somebody like Chris Ramsey, but that's not the purpose of this channel. The purpose of the channel is to try and inspire and help people. And if I can get one person that I've helped as a result of this channel, it's worth it. So no, I'm probably not going to do a buy me a coffee thing, but, you know, if anybody wants to support me, they can go join the Netrix. Okay, I've had a few people ask me about the plastic note setup for Chop. So if you want to see that, I'll do a video on that. It's going to have to be when I get back from Eastbourne. So beginning of September, I will put that together. I know that there was something as part of the project on Penguin, but I'll put another video together on how to actually set up a bill for Chop. Absolutely not a problem. Look out for that. When I get back from Eastbourne, I'll make it happen. Okay, so the next question is from Frank Tugas. And Frank says, hey Craig, how about a short video on your office, on a tour of your office where the sales team and the marketing team meet your warehouse, where you keep your illusions, and the studio where you shoot your videos for Magic TV and Netrix. Give people a real idea of what a Magic company is like. Yeah, if you want to do that, I can do that when I get back from Eastbourne. I'll do a tour of the office. I'll even do a kind of a day in your life documentary. Maybe I'll just get Jack to follow me around all day with a camera. That would be kind of interesting. So yeah, absolutely, Frank, no problem. If enough people want to see that, I'll make it happen. Okay, so the next question is from one of my favourite magicians in the world. From France, we have Drone Damien. I think I've pronounced that very badly from a French point of view. Jérôme, I don't know. Hi Craig, as a creative magician, what's your ideas organisation system? Do you store them by hand in notebooks or on computers using tags or something else? I try to use a notes app on my iPhone, but it's quite chaotic. And to be honest, I don't normally take notes and keep things in my head. But my memory is not as efficient as 20 years ago, and I think I should start having more of a solid system. Any advice? I've talked about this on a video before. I have a creativity board. So I have a big whiteboard in my office, and I have various different columns in it. And on the left-hand column, I have like really every single brain fart I've ever had for an idea. So when I get an idea, I write it on the creativity board. And if I'm out and about, I write it on my notes page, and then I transfer it to the creativity board when I'm back in my office. And that just reminds me. So if I'm ever thinking of things that I'm trying to think up, I can go to that board. I can look at the left-hand column and go, oh yeah, I was thinking about trying to work out a way to make a stone float, wasn't I? Let's have a think about that. So it always kind of re-inspires me. So every idea I have, regardless of whether I've got a method or not, that goes into the left-hand column. Then when I've got a method, or when I think of an idea for a method, it goes into the next column. So that's when I've actually got a way of achieving that thing. And then I'll kind of, anything in that column is going to get fleshed out, and I need to kind of, okay, I've got a method, but I need to kind of think of a routine and how that method's actually going to work. And then when I've actually got something that I believe will work and I've prototyped it, it moves into the next column, which is where I'm actually going to be trying it out in the real world. Because damn me, anything that you ever create, when you actually try it out in the real world, you'll realize it's not as good as you thought it was, or there's problems that will come up that might even move the thing back to the previous column. So that's where I actually try stuff into the real world. Then when I've got it to a point that I'm happy with it, presentationally, technically, and actually from a performance point of view, it moves into the next column, which is, this is something that I think is good. I've worked it in, it worked. This is the what am I going to do with it column. And it might be something that goes up on the Netrix. It might be something that I keep for myself. It might be something that I speak to a company about. At that point, that's when I kind of go, right, okay, where does this need to get pushed to next? So all the ideas go in the notes page when I'm out and about, and then it gets put down directly onto the creativity board. And when I'm working on, and I have separate boards for separate things. So for example, I've just brought out the Cheeky project. I knew I wanted to create a whole project around routines with the cheek to cheek deck. So I had a whiteboard that was just cheek to cheek deck. And every time I came up with an idea, I wrote it underneath. And if it was not a good idea after I'd tried it out, it got wiped out. And my goal was to put 10 routines together with the cheek-to-cheek deck that I was really happy with, that worked in the real world. So I've got basically boards everywhere, all over my office, and that's how I keep myself organised. Okay, so the next question is from Sam Fuller, magician again. And Sam Fuller says, how would you use Cheeky at a walk around where there's no table? Well, really easy. There's no difference. You just do it. I mean, I talk about this on the download, but the beautiful thing about Cheeky is you don't need a table. And I know what you're thinking. Well, what happened? You know, you're shuffling the deck and spreading it out, but you don't need to. So you can take the deck and you can do a faro shuffle instead. So you can faro shuffle the cards face up into face down, and then you can spread and show that the cards are face up into face down, and then you can ask them to hold the hand out, and you do the move as you put the cards in their hand, and then you snap and you spread them out. So everything that can be done in Cheeky on a table. It can be done in the hands. You just substitute the faro shuffle for a regular waterfall shuffle. So hopefully that gives you a few ideas of what you can do there. Okay, so the next question is from Nevio D, and no, it's Nevio Smiley Face, I believe. Nevio says, do you have an idea how I could force a word without using a force bag or digital force bag? I do have Make Your Choice by Julio Monturo, but it doesn't fit the routine. Thanks for the answer. An idea how you could force a word without using a force bag or digital force bag. Okay. So, get yourself a pocket dictionary. Okay, here we go. Get yourself a pocket dictionary and a dried out marker. So you're going to get a dried out marker that doesn't write, and you're going to get yourself a little pocket dictionary. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to pick a page in the middle of the dictionary, and you're going to corner short it just ever so slightly so nobody can notice. You're going to corner short it so that when you riffle through it, it will very, very easily stop at that point. Now, if you don't want to use the corner short, the other way that you could do it is you could just know ahead of time which page you're going to work with. Let's say you're going to work with page 106. So as you show the dictionary and you show that all the pages are different, bring it up to yourself, flick to 106, and then hold a wedge break there. So you're holding a break with your finger, and then do a riffle force and bring your hand up like that. So you're opening up apparently to the point that they stop. So you've got your finger in the book here. So you're holding the book. They won't see it anywhere. This is a classic technique. You riffle up, they say stop, and you just come up here and you separate apparently where they say stop, but it's really where the wedge break was. But don't hold it up so they can see it. You're going to hold it up downwards so they see the back of the book. So you're opening it up, but they can't see the page. The reason they can't see the page is because you're going to pre-draw on that page. You're going to get your pen and you're going to draw a circle around the force word. Let's say the force word is banana. You're going to circle banana like that, right? Yeah, so you're gonna circle banana with a regular pen. So when you do this routine, you're gonna bring out your dictionary, and the funniest way of introducing a pocket dictionary in close up was by Cody Fisher. And he has the dictionary in his pocket, and he just says, hey, I want you to think of any word in the world. Think of any word. It's up to you which word you want to think of. Think of any word. Are you thinking of that word? If I told you I had that word written down in my pocket, would that be good? And they go, yeah, and you bring out a dictionary, and you go, it's got to be in there somewhere. It's every word in the English language, and they laugh, obviously. But then you can show the dictionary, get the wedge break, and say, look, I'm also going to need you to take this pen. So take the pen and you go, say stop, and they say stop, and you open it down like this, and you say, take the lid off the pen. I want you to just take the pen and draw a small circle somewhere, if you can, please. That would be amazing. So they draw a small circle, and then you're gonna go, okay, fantastic. Cap the pen, and they cap the pen. Now you're gonna show the book to somebody else, not to them. And the reason you're going to do that is because they might have made a big circle, or the circle might have looked completely different to the circle that you made. They will know that, but the person over here won't. So if you just open so they can't see the page, and you say, do me a favor, take that pen and just draw a circle if you can somewhere in the middle of the page. Have you done that? You have. Brilliant. I'm just going to show this to you over here. Can you see? Is there a word that's circled? Is there more than one word, or is there just one word? There's just one word. Can you remember that word? And they say yes. And you go, brilliant, let's put the dictionary away. And then you recap. Now think about this. This is the English dictionary. There are literally millions of words in this dictionary. You said stop anytime you wanted to. If you said stop a little bit later on, it would have been a completely different page. Then you circled one word. It could have been any word. No one could know that word but you. And now you've forced the word. So that would be one way to do it. That would be, if you didn't want to use a digital force bag, or you didn't want to use a forcing bag, that would be a way to do it. That would be a good way to do it. That would work. I'll try and think of some other ways as well. If that doesn't work for you, let me know, and I'll try and come up with some other methods. But off the top of my head, with literally 30 seconds to think about it, that would be probably the easiest way to do it, and would also look very deceptive, because everybody knows a dictionary has got every word in the world in it. So by just literally opening up to any page, apparently, and then circling any word, it looks fair. And if you don't want to do the circle thing, you could just force the page and just have them look at the top, the first word on the first page which would also work. And that's the way that I do it. The other way that you could do it is by picking a word where the letters that make up that word really only make up that word. And you'd have to really seriously think about other words that those letters could make. So, for example, lucky. The letters that make up the word lucky, I don't think, you need a lot of thinking in order to think up another word that makes up the word lucky. And then you could get yourself a alphabet deck with 26 letters. If you haven't got an alphabet deck, get 26 blank-faced cards and write a letter on each one. And then just have the word lucky, have the letters L-U-C-K-Y in this example on the bottom of the deck. And then cop them out and say, here you are, can you shuffle these cards? You can look through them if you want to. You've got every letter here, one of every letter, 26 cards altogether. Every letter is there once. Do me a favour, shuffle the cards. If you've done that, take them back, brilliant. So you've still got the 5 cards at the bottom. Do a Vernon, well, do any force that you want to with those 5 cards. If I was going to do this, I'd do the Vernon strip out switch thing. So they touch 5 cards, they're up jogged, and you switch them out for the bottom 5 cards as you spread them out in your hand or give them to somebody. And you say, okay, these are the 5 cards, can you shuffle them? So they take them and shuffle them. And you say, have a look at those 5 cards and use those 5 cards, make up a word. Can you do that for me? Brilliant. Put the cards back in the thing and shuffle them again. So think about this. You can examine these cards. Each letter is here once. You shuffled, you then took 5 cards. You then took those 5 cards and made up a word. And then you shuffle them into the cards yourself. There's no way I can know what that word is, but you force lucky, okay? So those are probably the 2 ways that I go with that. So hopefully that helps you and gives you a couple of options. So there you go, guys. That's another Q&A in the bag. Thank you once again for joining me right here on Magic TV. Do me a favour, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Genuinely, it means the world to me when I read your comments. Even if I don't have time to reply to them, it means the world to me when I read the comments. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. You want to see more videos like this, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. And I'm going to be back again tomorrow at 9 o'clock with a 5x5. I'm going to be back this evening with another video. I'm going to be back tomorrow with a Magic Live at 6 o'clock. There's a ton of content coming up on Magic TV. If you haven't already done so, like I said earlier, if you want to support the channel, head over to www.thenetrix.com and you can sign up and see what all the fuss is about. As I say, on Monday, we've got 3 new courses by Steve-O Watson. Guys, I'll see you again. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.